So I have done 3 of them here, right? So the next step would be to ink these sections or orbs with a small highlight, just the way we do for Bronx cheers, right? So I am inking them and leaving a highlight. You may choose to draw a small orb inside and then ink the rest of the section, whichever way you find it comfortable, right? Again, next one. Right? The third one. So make sure you just leave some highlight so that the shapes show, right? Like this. And the last one. So I'm going to rotate my tile here. So go slow, take your time, and take that effort to fill up each and every orb that you drew, like this, right? So I will do the same exercise for the other two also. So I have finished doing the same exercise for all, right? So you can add 1 or 2 more here just to give the impression of the stem going inside. Like this, right? So the rest of the place, let us introduce one more tangle, and the pattern is called Sand Swirl. It's not a Zentangle original. I have not used it in my sessions before, but it is a pattern which is widely used in Zentangle, and it is a tangle by Carrie Hune. So let us start with the pattern Sand Swirl, a very simple pattern to draw, purely aura based, and fulfills all the required conditions of an ideal Zentangle pattern. So I started with a fescue, and now I'm just going to add auras to it, like this. So I've already added 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to add 5 layers of aura, like this, right? Again, move in another direction, like this. This random 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So this is all about the pattern, that simple. So just move around in random directions, draw a fescue, and then start to aura it. 4, and then 5, right? If you wish, you can add a sparkle also. Again, a hidden one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these small little portions, you can either add orbs or you can ink them, whichever way you like it, right? So I'm going to do this. I hope you got the pattern. The pattern is called Sand Swirl. Just take your time. A purely aura based pattern. You don't have to worry about which direction the fescue is going, right? So again, you can draw one here behind. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 3, 4 and 5. Just keeping the number of auras same so that they'll all look of almost the same size, but there is no hard and fast rule, right? Again, I will draw one here. 3, 4 and 5. 5, 3, 4 and 5, and fill up this section, right? So I'll continue doing this exercise and get back. Fill up the entire section with the pattern Sand Swirl. So this will be a nice combination of a really geometric looking pattern with some organic tangles. Right, so again try to make them in a haphazard manner, it will look better. So I am drawing the last few, almost finishing the entire sections. You can now have an idea of how does the pattern look like. So just drawing these random fescue shapes and then auraing them and filling in the in-between spaces, right? Not thinking much. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So little spaces left, you can comfortably squish in some tipples here and there. Some hidden ones. Right, so this is the tangle pattern Sand Swirl. So let us now start to shade our tile. So I'm now going to be again the way I told you, adding graphite on alternate sections. Make sure your ink has dried up or else you may damage your tile. So alternate, this is empty, so I'm going to shade this one. Right, so I'm almost coloring it with gray, so you can also add some shading so it looks nice both ways, right? And then on the sand swirl, it is up to you how you want to. Generally a sand swirl is shaded on these two places, right? But since I don't want to get into shading each of them here on this tile, so I'm going to really darken the edges and shade my tangle as a whole and not get into shading each and every sand swirl, but ideally it is shaded on these intersections like this, right? So you can shade it that way also if you wish, but I choose to shade the tangle as a whole since it is in my background, and then add graphite on one side of the bronze spears like this. Darken one side and highlight the other. If you want, you can choose to shade it differently or not shade it at all, up to you. Right, so let us now start blending. So I'm just going to almost color this section with gray, or you can have a shade, a tint, the way you like to. In that case, you just draw a line here and then blend it, so it will look like a shade. I like to color it with gray. It makes the cubes pop up. Right, so that's the pattern beeline, and I'm now going to blend my pencil on the other section. So just pulling it towards the center. Tongue got twisted, I think. Just blend it from the edges, bringing it towards the center, but not covering the entire center, of course, as it is, the center is pretty large here. So must leave white sections, and then blending the bronze gears, those bronze spears as we call it in Zentangle. So you can see here I've darkened one side, added graphite, right, and then I'm going to highlight the center and one side of the bronze spears like this. Right, and then highlight the center, sand swirls a little, so they look all lit up. You can also add some shadow on one side. I don't think it will look bad if you darken one side of the bronze spears, just like a shadow, right. So I'm adding little graphite on the outer edge, a little outside my spears, just to give the effect of a shadow, and then pick up another stump and just soften the chalk. Right, so they are almost popping out. Yeah, and now to add a little zen, you can either use your jelly roll 10 or you can use your jelly roll 8 and add a little zen to your beeline. This is entirely optional, up to you whether you want to do it or not. The tangle looks fine either ways, so you can close your tile here, or you can add a little zen if you don't like too much of black ink. Right, so this changes the look of the basic pattern, so it is entirely optional. You may or may not do it. So I'm adding a little printum here, a small one, just to add a little zen. Yeah, I think we are done. Yeah, that's about it. So we are done with our tile. So let us now initial it. So I am now going to close my tile. So make sure your jelly roll has dried up. Sign and date it. Right, so I'll see you again with another Zentangle original and few more patterns. Till then, stay safe, take care, bye bye.